of our fish and our ecosystem. Now is the time for each and every one of us to take full responsibility in leading our government to the future. A future of sustainability with our fish, our environment. It can be no less than that. Our commitment has to be in full force. Now is the time that our government begins to listen and not undermine our responsibility.
Your government is letting you down when it comes to wild salmon. We all must embrace that and know that for fact.
I watched a film last night and they were talking about companies being in denial. It's not denial, it's deceit. And it's because of the dollar. That's what they're interested in. They're not interested in the economy of British Columbia, in the ongoing economy that we rely on, and that's relying on our salmon.
We have to be relentless in our efforts because we are up against very, very powerful forces that intend to commodify everything under the sun for profit, for corporate greed. And Alexandra Morton recognized that a very long time ago.
I know that many of you here recognize the two words Broughton Archipelago. That is the territory of the Kwasotino people. And it is that territory that our people, as the Musqueam Tawadeno, have never faltered in their words being spoke to the provincial and the federal government about open net cage fish farms. They are not wanted, they are not welcome, and it's time for them to go. And if you've ever wondered what does it take, what measure of action does it take to get a government to move, this is the action that it takes. And every one of you is going to be a part of the success of having Canada and the provincial government to wake up and embrace full value of healthy, abundant wild salmon stocks.
Every once in a while, someone will step forward, someone that has been blessed by our Creator, someone who has been given special gifts, talents that are unique, and that person in the time of need will step forward and lead us in the right direction. And that's what has happened here today. And I have such admiration, such respect, and such love for Guayamsi, and I'm just so happy that there is such a person, such a blessing for all of us, such a beacon of hope for us to follow and come together and share this experience and reach out to our friends and neighbors, our families, our leaders in our communities, and those people in positions of power.
The village that I come from is a very small village on Guilford Island. And just a few days before Alexandra began this great journey from Sointula down here to the Victoria, we hosted a humble lunch so that our nation could express our love and our support for the work that Alexandra Morton does on behalf of our tribes, behalf of our territory in the Broughton Archipelago, but on behalf of all the wild salmon that every one of you here cares for. This is the kind of action that we require. It needs to go beyond today. We need to understand that the Department of Fisheries and Oceans is right now developing new regulations for aquaculture. So now is the time, everybody. Now is the time for every one of you here to organize your family, your neighbors, your friends, your neighborhood, and your community. And you send a letter to Gail Shea, Minister of Department of Fisheries and Ocean, and you tell her wild salmon first, closed containment now.
I love you. Thank you. We have come to believe that we cannot live in the natural world. We have come to think that we need to wreck everything, but it's not so. First Nations and salmon came to this coast together when there was nothing but water and rock and ice, and they grew together. We can do the same. Please, everybody, this is not the end. There's some people here, First Nations and otherwise, who are going to Oslo, Norway next week to show them this. And we will take this to Ottawa if need be, if they can't hear us from here. Whatever it takes. Because this is about people. This is not save the salmon, this is save the people, save our towns. We want to thrive. We can learn to live with this magnificent planet that gave birth to us. We can do this. We know how to do it. We just need to put our mind to it. And as a young man said to me on the way down, he said, if you want to be represented, represent yourself. And here you are. And a chief in Nanaimo, Chief White, he said, we need to lead the government. Lead the government. Remember that, lead the government. The government's not going to lead us. They're leading us into a downward spiral because they don't know which way is up. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You made me very happy. Not that I matter in this, but I want you to know that I really, really now do think we can save our salmon. So thank you.
So I urge every one of you to take this moment and remember it. This is who we are doing this work for collectively. It is for our youth, it is for our children, and for our children yet unborn. Now I say to each and every one of you now, let's all join together and make that last stretch of the Get Out migration a memorable one. Let's take it to the street. Let's have Alexandra and these three wonderful young ladies take us out to the road to the legislature, and let's all be there. Let's go.
No more fish farms!